Good morning, Joy here. Are you ready for a devotional this morning? Turns out my devotionals probably are going to be kind of separate from my sewing. Yay, can I hear the applause out there? The reason for it is, when I do a sewing tutorial, or a quilting tutorial, or a scan and cut tutorial, there's lots and lots of clips, and it takes me days sometimes to put it all together. And the devotionals need to be on the day that they're supposed to be on. Okay? So this is Thursday, January 28, 2021. Say a little prayer for my friend Terry. Terry's having one of those female type surgeries today. So pray that she has a quick and painless recovery. Okay, Thursday, January 28, Revealing Light. The scripture today is John 3:20. Everyone who does evil hates the light and will not come into the light for fear that their deeds will be exposed. Oh boy. Oh boy, could I say a whole lot about that, but I'll spare you today. Things are hidden in darkness, but when a light is turned on, all is revealed. So it makes sense that people who do dishonest, unkind, or hurtful things to others would want to stay in darkness where no one can see what they are doing. That is, no one but God. Jesus says that He is the light of the world. People who do evil things would want to stay away from Him, so their behavior would not be so obvious. Are you in darkness or are you in light? I know you, my friends, are in light because you tell me all the time that you think like I do about these devotionals. If you are in the light, remember that your actions and attitudes are revealed. Make sure they bring honor to God. A lot of you mentioned yesterday about the drug culture now. I have believed forever and ever since my first husband got off into drugs that is one of Satan's biggest, mainest, most obvious tools to deceive people. What does it do? What does it do when you use drugs? It numbs your conscience. It deletes your shame. It erases your ability to tell good from evil. If you're just on drugs all the time, all you care about is being on drugs. You don't care about your wife, your kids, your life. For sure you don't care about God. So, drugs. Number one thing, drugs and alcohol, that have destroyed my personal family. Going on right now, today. And it just upsets me to no end. How can God change a person whose conscience is dead, suppressed, completely out of control because they're high on drugs or alcohol or prescription drugs? I have a family member, that is the case. Several probably. Used to have employees. God can't change you when you've killed the God part of you. The God part of you, everybody has a God part. Everybody is born with a heart that longs to know their Creator. But when they get involved in all of the things of the world, that changes them into, goodness, practically a rock. Just a person with no shame, no guilt, no conscience. And no matter what goes on in their life, it's somebody else's fault. They can't forgive, they can't forget. They just say, all right, you're out of my life, I'm never going to see you again because you did one thing wrong. And then take their drugs and drink their alcohol. Oh yes, lots of it going on in my family, so I'm well aware of it. I never, ever touch the stuff. Not to say, I drink wine sometimes and margaritas, okay? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about alcoholics. One of my husband's brothers died with a cup of straight whiskey in his hand, dead, been there for several days, a week, nobody even knows how long, cigarette falling off on the couch, and his whiskey in his hand. Yeah, and I found this brother of his used to live with his mother. His mother was his enabler. His mother was a nurse, and she was one of those people that had to rescue everyone. And she rescued him 1,000,000 times. And she would bring him to her house and let him stay there. And then she would nurse him back to health, dump Ensure down him and feed him and take care of him. Well, when she died and I went to clean out her house and get it ready to sell, I found bottles of whiskey in the oddest places. I bet I found 4 or 5 of them. In the closets, in the clothes, in the hampers, way back in a cupboard. It just, all these bottles, just, he just threw his life away. Threw it away, and he was talented. Isn't that often the case? Have you all noticed that? It seems like it's the really smart ones, the talented ones, that get hooked on that. I don't know if they're just so smart and so talented they can't deal with people who aren't. I don't know. But this guy, he was an artist. He drew the most amazing pictures with just a pencil. Well, I guess it wasn't a pencil like you and I use, but you know, one of those art pencils. He drew amazing pictures. He took amazing photography. He could fly airplanes. He was in the Marines. He had the ability to be somebody amazing and to help other people, and instead he just drank himself to death. It's just so, so sad. Anyway, I was telling you, I never did get on them because somebody told me, well, lots of people tell you, movies tell you, other things they show you in school tell you, that it affects your brain. And I knew that I was really going to need my brain to get by in this world because I was a fast learner, and I knew that I did not want to ruin my ability to think and have a job. Okay, does that make sense? And so I just never would touch it. My first husband, after we were divorced and after I found out about his drug addictions, he begged me and begged me and begged me to just try it. Just try it. I promise you, if you try it and you don't like it, I'll quit and I'll never touch it again. I said, no, 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 no. If you never touch it to start with, it can't grab hold of you. You just have to be so careful with your brain and your heart and your soul. Your soul is the God part of you that cries out and longs for a relationship with God. And if you anesthetize it, that's the word, anesthetize it with drugs and alcohol, you're going to die a very sad, lonely person without God. And it just breaks my heart. It really does. Okay, let's see what it says at the bottom. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? Psalm 27:1. Okay, my friends, that's the devotional for today. I'm working on a project. I hope I get the video up today. It's about Sew Away the Blues. And I made something that I think is just so fun. Goodbye for now. I'll be back tomorrow with tomorrow's devotional.